So much of what Julie was speaking about was kind of life in the human world, which you know from hearing me talk on and off, some of you, every week for many of you, that the human world is almost, in my sense, it's like the topsoil of the natural world. It's like that thin layer that we live in. And it creates our viewpoint and our sense of reality. And it's almost by definition skewed because it's all being mitigated by mind. And I think a lot of what Julie was pointing to, especially in the beginning part of her talk, was our relationship to things and how our relationship to things, any particular event, is often colored by our mood, by the specific conditions we find ourselves in. We tend to judge ourselves on outcome rather than effort. But I think our practice and our training points us to work with the situation as it is. And that's our life. And in that way, practice is really not separate from our life. Yeah, we have the separate practice of going to the gym of the Dharma room, whether it's for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 8 days, or even in Rhode Island a couple of weeks from now, they're going to be starting a 90-day meditation retreat, or yeah, I guess it's 90 days. That's also an intensive time at the gym. Now, I can't speak for people who've done 90 days. The longest I've done is 28. But I can tell you in 28 days, a lot happens. A lot of lasting clarity may come out of that. And you're still left with having to bring your practice to the moment that your partner's pissing you off. And it's just the reality of human life. And many of you have heard me say it. Sometimes I think what we really are trying to do with our practice, this is a misshaped idea, but really we're trying to get out of being human. Lately, I've been thinking about just the image of the Buddha and how I know in my early days of practice, the Buddha was this image of perfection. And that if I could practice and attain what the Buddha would attain, then I wouldn't suffer anymore. I wouldn't have any more problems, and I'd never make a mistake again. But we know, at least I know from my own life, that that's not what happens. And I think it's honestly a misunderstanding of the Buddha's life. I mean, at the end of the Buddha's life, at least the way it's understood now, he ate tainted meat and he died of food poisoning. That's not the image of a life that never has any problems, never makes a mistake, and everything is perfect. Now, we could turn the story and say that there was no mistake, but that's shifting our narrative, really. And if you believe that, and if you believe that in your life, more power to you. But my hunch is you likely are still living in the world of mistake and not mistake. And mistake is bad and not mistake is good. So, okay, own it. That's the reality I live in. To me, practice really helps because it broadens that reality. I was talking to somebody today and I gave a quote from a Paul Simon song that I've used before, but I think it's a good time to say it again. He said, first it was an ocean. Now it's a mountain range. Something unstoppable set into motion. Everything is different. Nothing has changed. Day goes to next day, and as the teaching teaches us, everything is always changing. If we like the change, we call it good. If we don't like the change, we call it bad. Our opinion about things is based on our perspective. Our practice is about waking up to that fact and working with our perspective.